I'm Swati. I'm a dog mom and your host for today. Summers have come and it is really hot. It is hot for us, but it's even worse for our pets. So today, I'm going to discuss all the problems that I am facing with my pets and all the questions that come to me about heat and pets. Today, we have a very special guest with us. We have Dr. Nikhil, who will answer all our questions.
Hello guys, myself Dr. Nikhil Sharma. As Swati has already introduced, we'll be taking over all your questions and we'll be answering them for you.
So how are you, Dr. Nikhil? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Swati?
I'm good too. So there are a lot of questions that are coming to us about heat. गर्मी बढ़ती जा रही है, कमी नहीं हो रही. We keep sitting in ACs and so do our dogs. And our cats, our rabbits, our birds. But this is definitely a very tough time for pets. And I'm sure, there are a lot of pet parents coming to you with questions as well.
Yes.
What are the most common problems that pets face in summers?
Okay, so we'll start from the transition phase. Like as the spring is coming in and then the winter is almost about to leave. That is the time we see that most of the pet parents also start noticing differences and abnormal behavior in pets, which they feel is abnormal for them, or they haven't witnessed it for a very long time. Say for example, your dog who was normally walking along with you has started to lag off a bit. So because he's feeling the heat.
So lethargy.
Yes, basically lethargy.
Yeah.
He's feeling a bit of lethargy, a bit of a dullness in him is there. So those kind of things are initially what pet parents are most worrisome about. But then on forth, what they most fear is that he has decreased his appetite or he has stopped eating. अभी तो बहुत खाता था, अभी बिल्कुल भी नहीं खाता है, अभी मतलब 2 दिन में एक बार ही खा रहा है. तो such kind of things also happen. If you see with us, that is also something very similar. हमारे साथ भी ऐसे ही होता है.
Yeah, summers you don't feel like eating.
Exactly.
And it is the same with pets. In fact, a lot of pets end up losing weight also in summers.
Yes, that's true. So everything is fine, like कम खा रहा है, ज़्यादा खा रहा है. It's fine as long as he is not lethargic or very dull. So if he's very dull and his activeness is not there, or he's not peppy enough, or he's not able to do his normal chores outside the house or inside, so that is something that you might have to go and see a doctor for. So that is one small note I would like to give.
Another question that I want to ask you is that what are the health concerns that pets will have in summers? What are the kind of things that can happen because of heat to pets in summers?
So during heat, it's very common, a heat stroke, hypothermia as we call it. So in this you see your pet completely collapsing, sometimes panting, excessive breathing. In cats, you'll also see in this a glazed look, like when someone is looking at a TV for so long. So that is something that you can see in cats. In dogs, you'll see that they'll collapse, they'll be panting, there'll be a lot of salivation. So those kind of things, as well as an increase of total body temperature in them. Along with that,
does that also happen with smaller pets, say rabbits, birds?
Yes, so stroke is something that is very common, a heat stroke especially. It can happen with any breed who has been exposed to a very hot climate and he cannot have a change of his environment by his own will. So that can happen. Like for example, you are going to shopping and you forgot to put the AC on, or you kept your dog inside the car for a long period of time. So that is when you can look for them.
We have been talking about this on Zigly, on Pets Familiar for a really long time. Every time summers come, we advise pet parents that please be very careful. Don't leave your pets in the car because that can really lead to a heat stroke.
Yes.
What are the other things that we can do to avoid a heat stroke?
So first and foremost, making sure they have ample amount of clean and cool water. So if they want, they can put their nose inside or they can paw with them and feel the a bit cold water as well. The other thing is making sure that they're inside or there is a lot of shady environment or shady places nearby so they can rest if needed be. So those are a few things that they
And what happens if they get a heat stroke?
Okay.
You know, what is the first aid that a pet parent can give at home before they reach a vet?
Okay.
What can we do?
So it's a heat stroke. So basically it means that the body is बहुत ज़्यादा तप रही है, जैसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं. तो जैसे हम करते हैं बुखार में भी you start doing cold fermentation. Similarly is with them. आप इनके ऊपर ठंडी पट्टियाँ करनी शुरू कर सकते हो right the moment you feel like something is going wrong with it.
Okay.
But within 5 to 10 minutes, it's very imperative that you see a doctor, because there are a lot of losses in fluids, and the heat stroke can also have other underlying causes as well, which the doctor can basically diagnose.
Is a heat stroke fatal?
Yes, in a few cases, heat stroke can be fatal. So basically, when your body temperature is right, this is above 105 to 106, it's when your brain functioning also stops. If it remains for a long period of time, that problem might be permanent and irreversible.
Okay. My next question to you is that one very common problem that a lot of pet parents face in summers is ticks and fleas and parasites.
Yes.
So ticks and fleas, and right now if you go to the market, you will see all sorts of products, right from powders to sprays to injectables to tablets. As a pet parent, most pet parents are very confused. What should they use and what is not healthy? Maybe this is not right. Maybe this can be poisonous for our own dog. So can you guide us a little in terms of how to tackle ticks and fleas?
It's a very important question. What I feel, this question has two parts to it. One is with a multi-pet houses, one which has cats as well as dogs. So in them, you have to make one thing very clear. The spot on or the medications used for ticks and mites on dogs, you cannot use it on cats.
Okay.
When you sometimes even spray, sometimes with dogs, you have to make sure that they are dried after that. Like you have sprays like Fixotic spray, Advance, and other sprays that you have available in market, Fipronil. So you just have to make sure that it is dried, because he doesn't licks it, or your cat or anyone doesn't licks off them. Because what happens in a multi-pet houses, they are affectionate to each other, and the way they show their affection is by licking each other.
Yeah, and cats tend to keep grooming themselves all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that becomes a problem. So if they lick it, the chances of them developing a toxicity is high. And now coming on to the second part of the question, like which is the most effective one? Efficacy of products depends largely upon how you are using it. There are some tick collars which work very well with few pet owners, and the same tick collar works or performs negligibly with others. So it largely underlines the problem is that sometimes what happens is people or pet parents just keep the tick collar on when they're bathing the dog. So when that happens, it basically rinses off all the active ingredient in the tick collar as well. So that is one of the things that people miss out on. So if you're going to give your dog a bath, just remove the tick collar if he has one. Other problem that I have commonly noticed is that people have this adverse reaction whenever doctor want to talk about Bravecto or Simparica. These are
which are basically medicines, oral medicines or injectables.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are a few things that if you feel, you should discuss with your veterinarian first. You should not give it by your own, but have a in general conversation, because Bravecto and other might have some side effects which you might need to talk to your doctor about.
Another thing about injectables or medicines, and one question that always kind of comes is that pet parents are very scared about giving injectables or medicines to their dogs because they feel that it's unsafe and it's not right for the pup or even an adult dog for that matter. Are these medicines safe to give? Are these medicines effective, and is this something that you recommend?
So these medicines, be it Bravecto, Simparica, or for example your spot-ons also, they have reached these markets after extensive research and accreditation from best nations. International standards have been kept in order to make everything is in order. So these are kind of safe, but you have to make sure that the dosage is also right. Sometimes what happens largely is people try to give dosage at a higher side. They do not understand that they have to be given in that ratio in order for the dog to be safe as well as the medication to work well. The problem with tick and flea is actually one more problem along with it. The problem largely is that they hide into cracks and crevices. So even though many pet parents come to us and say, but sir ये तो बाहर जाता ही नहीं, इसके ticks कैसे लग गए, तो ये कैसे हो गया? So it's largely that whenever he has gone once or twice out, he has brought those ticks back, and those have now entered your home, and they are now hiding in cracks and crevices. So you also have to make sure that
your home is clean.
Yes, a thorough cleaning is also.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that tick eggs and flea eggs is also something that is
Yes. So there is a term called flea allergic dermatitis. So you can actually do a test at home. You can take a flea comb and put a white paper underneath your dog and put all the dirt on the white paper. You put a few drops of water on it and press it with your thumb. If it's all red, it means they were flea ingesta. So because when flea bites on your pet, it kind of digests all the blood, and that is what poop of the flea comes out, and it has blood in it. So that is a positive test. If you feel that it is positive, that is something that you can
and
do.
that can lead to a lot of health issues.
Yes. Flea allergic dermatitis can cause a lot of itching, pruritus as you call it, and there is also inflammation, and there is alopecia sometimes also there. So those are the few things that you can observe. Flea allergic dermatitis can also lead to this constant itching with the dog, which you notice. So that is also there.
Okay. Another question that I have for you is that in summers it's very common for our pets to go and sit in the bathroom or sit in places that are wet because they want to cool themselves off.
Yes.
But as a result of this, what happens is because they stay wet for really long and they end up getting skin infections. So I wanted to understand a little how do they avoid this? What is the kind of infection they can get? And if they do get that infection, what should a pet parent do?
Okay, so this has two connotations to it. One is like you can decrease the temperature of the AC at home if he's still feeling hot. That's why he's going to the water to sit. So that is something that you can do. The other thing is that you can somehow, blow dryers now come with two settings. One is hot and one is completely cool. So you can try blow drying them with a cool blow dryer. So
and make sure that they are dry.
But still the situation remains that the moisture will still be there and the infection will develop. So trimming is something that can help in this condition. You can trim your dog out a bit, but not to the zero.
So you think that grooming is very essential in summers?
Very, very essential. Grooming, and dogs will also enjoy grooming in this time.
Yeah.
So it's very
Another question that I have for you is that, we keep sitting in ACs and so do our pets. And then we have to take them out for walks and it's really hot outside.
Yes.
And there is a sudden temperature shift that happens. Is that bad for pets? And what should we do? Should we change the walk timings? What do you suggest?
So as you rightly pointed out, so we have created two very artificial microclimates. One microclimate is very cold, that is inside the house, and the other climate, which is in general, is very hot. So this can lead to drastic changes and we avoid drastic changes altogether. So in this condition, what you can do is you can take them out in very early morning or very early or late evenings. So that can help. Other than that, you can make sure that there is buffer area or a buffer time. You can switch off the AC for some time and then you can go outside. So that can also help your pet. So say for 5 to 10 minutes you can completely switch off the AC and let the temperature come down to normal room temperature, and then you can take them outside. So that is also something that you can work on.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikhil. I think this has been like a really helpful session. I hope you enjoyed this session, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. I am Swati Tandon. I'm your dog mom, and this is Dr. Nikhil. We will join you again for the next episode. Until then, be safe, keep your pets safe, and stay happy.